I had called the technician to fix the security camera. That was the excuse. The truth? I wanted eyes where trust had gone blind. The technician left in under an hour. I tested the feed from my phone. Sharp, soundless, discreet. I hadn't told my son about it. Why would I? He was too blinded by love to see what was standing in front of him. The first evening I checked, my daughter-in-law moved through the house like she owned more than walls and furniture. Too comfortable, too careless. I told myself it was nothing, until I saw the man walk in. Not a delivery man, not a neighbor. Him, the technician. I froze. He put his hand on her back, guiding her into the living room like he'd been there before. They laughed, close, intimate. 10 minutes later, the worst happened. My living room, my son's house, became their playground. I didn't scream. I didn't throw my phone. I just sat in silence, watching the woman my son had sworn his life to betray him with the same hands that had just installed his protection. That was the moment I stopped being a mother-in-law. I became something else entirely. I remember when I first met her. She wore innocence like perfume, sweet, disarming. She spoke softly, the kind of softness that lulls men into lowering their guard. My son believed he had found loyalty. I believed he had found peace. She played her role well, dutiful wife, gentle smile, eyes full of admiration. But I know now, admiration can be forged like counterfeit money, and counterfeit always fades. The cracks came slowly. Missed calls, excuses rehearsed too well. My son would ask, "Did she stop by here earlier?" She hadn't. I would see her car parked blocks away, waiting until she thought the house was empty. I stayed silent. I wanted evidence, not suspicions. And when the evidence came, it came in high definition. The night I caught them, I didn't confront her. Confrontation is loud. Revenge is quiet. I archived every clip, every frame, time-stamped, watermarked, undeniable. Then I began. First, the finances. My son and I share more than blood. We share investments, properties, accounts she had no idea about. I advised him, subtly, to separate assets. Told him marriages were unpredictable, the economy worse. He followed my advice. She noticed nothing. Next, her allies, friends, family, colleagues. I invited them into my world gently. Dinners, casual conversations, compliments. I planted seeds. She became too comfortable, too bold, while I made sure others began to notice her unexplained absences, her rehearsed excuses. A reputation doesn't shatter overnight. It erodes. Then, the legal safety net. A lawyer I trusted drafted contingencies. Prenups could be tested, but video evidence is harder to bury. I didn't just want her gone. I wanted her to understand that betrayal carries interest. Weeks later, I told my son we needed to talk. I led him into the study, pulled out my phone, and pressed play. He didn't breathe, didn't blink, just stared as his wife tangled herself with another man on our furniture. When the screen went black, he finally spoke. One word. How? I told him everything. Calm, steady, no hysteria, no venom, just the truth laid bare. I watched his world collapse in silence. Then I gave him the path out. Divorce papers already drawn, assets secured, her downfall mapped. He didn't want revenge. He wanted freedom. But I wanted both. The day of confrontation came disguised as an ordinary evening. She returned home, humming, carrying groceries like nothing was rotting beneath her skin. My son waited at the dining table. I stood in the shadows, silent witness. He slid the envelope across to her. She opened it, legal documents stacked thick. Her smile faltered. Then he pressed play on the video. Our house filled with the sound of betrayal. Her face drained. She tried to speak, to fabricate, but lies sound different when the truth is playing in the background. Her final weapon was tears. They fell fast, desperate. She begged, reached for his hand. He pulled back. And then I stepped forward. "You played the wrong game," I told her. My voice was even, cold. "And you underestimated the wrong family." She looked at me then, not as a mother-in-law, not as a woman, but as the architect of her collapse. The technician thought he was clever too. He never knew my son pressed charges: theft of marital assets, destruction of property, trespassing. Legal strings I pulled tight around his throat. His career dissolved before his hands could touch another circuit board. Her life unraveled in tandem. Friends distanced themselves, family whispered. The woman who once commanded rooms with charm now walked through them with shame clinging to her like smoke. My son signed the papers. Freedom cost him nothing. It cost her everything. Now, when I sit in that same living room, I glance at the camera in the corner, silent, unblinking. It reminds me of the day my silence